How much did you make in high ticket sales last month?
I had my highest month at 10,000.
Being in a tight financial place, what made you say fuck it and still invest into yourself opposed to saying, oh, well, I don't have the money, so I'm not going to do it? Why didn't you look at it that way?
The way it worked for me was just asking, like, what's riskier? Just living an average life for the rest of my life or taking a risk.
That's key, man, because that's the thing that holds all these reps back who've been doing this for a long time. They never invest into themselves. What's good? Welcome back. We are here with my boy Alex. This is a special interview because Alex has made a complete 180 just in his life and his skill set and in a totally different place from when we first started. Alex, I'm gonna let you take it away, man. Tell the people, who are you? What are you currently selling?
Hey guys, I'm Alex Giornoiu. I'm selling forex trading coaching right now, and uh, I used to work an IT job 9 to 5, and now I'm here with Nick.
Yeah. So let's dig in, right? So a couple months ago, before we started working together, you said you were working an IT job. How much were you making there?
There I was making about 2,000 USD, and yeah, it was decent for Romania, I would say. I had this acceptable, completely average, I would say, life ahead of me. Like it was fine, it was comfortable, but it's just no, I wanted more.
So you live in Romania, which third world country. You were making 2 grand a month, which is like pretty good income there. How much did you make in high ticket sales last month?
Yeah. So I had my highest month at 10,000. Felt great, honestly, to hit that mark. My goal for 2025 was to make 5,000 in a month, and I doubled that.
And we're gonna talk about the tactics and what it took to getting you there, but bro, tell me a little more about the quality of life you had making 2 grand a month, working in IT. I'm pretty sure you're working in an office. Like, how has just your life in general changed?
I no longer worry about that about money, and I feel like that's the most beautiful thing. It's just the stress of your mind, right? You just have more head space to think about other things, right? Like opportunities, how to improve, how to do this, how to do that.
Mhm.
Um, I was working remotely in IT. Wasn't gonna be for much
Okay.
more longer, but yeah, in terms of that, I was used to this remote lifestyle. You couldn't really travel outside and still work like outside of the country and still work that job. So now I
Mhm.
can also do that. And
Mhm.
yeah, I would say that it's just been a difference in how I'm providing for my family as well. Like they're much more relaxed now, and there aren't any issues anymore about money. Just just not happening.
Hell yeah. Well deserved, man. And something I want to point out as well is you're actually not a closer. What is your role?
Yeah, I'm setting right now. Um, a little bit of closing, I would say. Uh,
Yeah.
mainly setting and sometimes downselling on the call.
So these people are, you're calling them, which is tough, right? You're calling them at a random time and to set them or to sell them on still a four-figure investment, which takes a lot of skill. And something about your situation as well, man, is you weren't always selling on the best offer. I think a lot, like, offer is important, but a lot of times people put all this emphasis on the offer before the skill set. Like, how did your skill set right now allow you to get into one of the best offers in the space? How did that come to play?
Yeah, it was just a lot of hard work and being relentless, just not giving up. Like being stubborn, I feel like is a great thing. I
Hmm.
I tried to transfer my skills from other areas where I was more successful. For example,
Hmm.
fitness, right? I know that I knew very well that in fitness I didn't see results for the beginning months, right? I wasn't doing the right things, didn't have anyone to coach me, to mentor me, to tell me what to do. And I remember not seeing results for a long time. And then I
Hmm.
just kept at it and I saw them. That's why I
And do
tried
you
to implement the same thing here, right?
Mhm.
I went from bad offer to bad offer, I would say, for about 6 months, like no results at all in terms of money, right? I wasn't really making
Yeah.
money. But I just, kept going at it.
Do you think you would have been able to get on what Some also something else to call out. Alex made more than half of this closing team on his offer as well. Do you think you would have lasted on this team and even gotten an opportunity to be on this team if your skill set and your hunger wasn't where it needed to be from the minute you had that interview?
I feel like no, maybe I could have just stayed on the offer and just kind of half-ass it. But
Hmm.
in terms of actually having good results, like yeah, I made most more money than most closers just as a setter, and just I
Hmm.
was a top setter as well in 1 month, and doing all these things like this is why we do it, right? To be the best, to excel, and
Yeah.
yeah, you need a skill set. You need to pass interviews. After all, you need to get into the right offers, and it's not like it's easy
Hmm.
to do that. Like, networking is important, but you also need to do what you also need to know what you're doing.
Exactly. You're competing against dogs, right? 'Cause a lot of people think like, oh, the reason I'm
Yeah.
not making what I need is because of the offer I'm on. But it's like, if you were to get an opportunity at a better offer, you probably still wouldn't fucking make it, right? At least based on where you're at now. Yeah, bro, I agree. And dude, you've come such a long way in just a couple months. Guys, Alex was a greaser, right? It was greasy, greasy deal. If you're in high ticket, you know what that means. It was a stretch payment plan.
Yeah.
Being in a tight financial place, what made you say fuck it and still invest into yourself and still do what you needed to do as opposed to saying, "Oh, well, I don't have the money, so I'm not going to do it." Why didn't you look at it that way?
Yeah. I must admit it wasn't easy, man. And and part of it comes down to you as well, right? Like yeah.
Thank you,
I
bro.
I thank you for being a good closer, right? You helped me overcome my limiting belief, I would say, during the call. And I also objection handled myself like for a long time in this whole
Hmm.
process, like investing into myself, quitting my 9 to 5, which was not an easy thing to do.
Hmm.
I always had to objection handle myself, and the way it worked for me was just asking like, what's riskier, just living an average life for the rest of my life, or taking a risk, a bet on myself. Like, what was the
Oh
worst thing,
yeah.
worst thing that could have happened, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That takes nuts of steel. Right? A lot of people would look at it and say, "Oh, well, I'll wait until I get my next commission check. I'll wait until I'm a closer." Like you invested into yourself as a setter and make more than a lot of fucking closers, which again, super proud. So let's get into a little more tactical stuff now. Like before us working together, what were some of the biggest frustrations or challenges you were having on calls and what changed? What shifted?
Yeah, before working with you, I wasn't in the right mind space, I would say. Like this coaching for becoming better at sales, I feel like it's so much psychological as well and focused on the mindset. I I was kind of clueless, I would say, when I was, first starting out, making my first calls. I truly began with zero knowledge, zero skills. Maybe this helps someone, right? So I never was like inclined to do sales. I never had like this talent or this skill or wanting even to do this to speak with people, but I wanted money, right? I wanted to improve my situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
when I started out, I remember, man, like when my first dials, bro, I was staying there like frozen, not being able to call that person for like 30 minutes at once. It became very, very hard for me, right? It was very difficult to begin doing that, So I just kind of slowly went through that process, and I was just very slowly improving myself. And then once I had you as a coach, then it's everything like fell into place as I was able to be more confident in my skills, and that translated
Hmm.
into me also being more eager to make calls and dials and to talk to other people because I knew I was in a better place to help them as well.
And what was the biggest like tactical needle mover that allowed you to have the confidence to pick up the phone and dial?
For me, it was my last name, man. Like that's what helped me get through to most of it. Like, and I recommend for every man out there to wear their last name with pride. For me, it was just knowing who I wanted to become and just saying that, hey man, on my last name on Geornoy, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to dial like whatever 10, 50, 100 dials these days just to get started and get a feel of it. And that's what helped me the most to overcome that limitation and then the skill
Yeah.
set.
identity and pride is important, right? Let me ask it a little
Yeah.
different way though. Like you making those dials and the conversations are actually going better. Like what was the skill set and needle mover that changed the way your conversations were going?
You mean specifically like the introduction or discovery part of the call or something like that?
Like what was the thing that you implemented and you were like, holy shit, I'm having much better conversations.
Yeah. Um, I would say being more present. Um,
Mm,
that's what helped a lot because process wise, framework wise, like I understood everything, but you need to have your energy on point as well. This is so much a psychological game, right? And I feel like
yeah.
once I became more present and started having more fun too on my calls,
hmm
it's it made a huge difference, and I wouldn't have been able to hit a 10K month without that. Like definitely not.
Yeah. That's huge. And I love that because that's not like a very, oh, the objections and this question and that question. It was like actually being present with the human being in front of you, right? Now, you and I had a conversation right before your biggest month, similar to what we're talking about here, that was not very tactical. Tell us a little more about that conversation and like what we spoke about and why that was such a needle mover for you, like moving forward.
Yeah, that conversation, man, is why you have the best one-on-one calls in the industry, man. Hands down,
Thank you.
right? I think I'm gonna remember that conversation for the rest of my life, to be honest. Like, it was just the type of conversation that it reminded myself like why I'm doing all of this, right? You look together with me at my goals, my objectives, why I quit my job in the first place, why I went into
Mhm.
sales, and then you helped me to remind myself, right? Hey man, this is why we are doing this. This is why we are going through all this. Because I was kind of in a, I don't know, mental breakdown, something like that. I just had no energy. Um, I was lacking my purpose, my joy for sales, right? I was kind of in a bad place.
Mm,
And yeah, you helped me recover from that. You helped me to take some actions as well, like take a few steps towards the goals I set to myself, accomplish something at least of them. I did
mhm.
that. And then I got my energy back. I got my passion for sales back, passion for, helping other people. And I was having so much more fun on my calls. And ultimately,
Yeah.
that's what led me to, hit the 10K.
Having fun, having reasons. That's what Jeremy Haynes says. Like you got to have reasons. Sometimes we know we tend to forget those reasons. Um, and the next step is obviously being a closer and like we're still working together. You're still learning more and more. You've been in sales for 6 months, something like that, 6, 7 months, and you've consistently hit 10 grand a month. You've been the top rep. You've made more than other closers on your offer. There's motherfuckers who've been in sales for years, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and they've never made 10K a month. They've never been the top rep. What do you think is the difference? We talked about it a little earlier, and I'm asked two parts to this question, but the first part is what do you think is the difference between you doing it so fast in your first year, first 6 months, versus someone who's been doing this for years? What differentiates you two?
Yeah, for me, it was just going all in the first place. My results skyrocketed after I quit my job. I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as long as you are not giving it
Yeah.
your all, you you're not going to be able to have outstanding results. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I also understood the importance of investing into yourself, right? I saw that it speeds up the process very, very much. Like finding someone
Yeah.
who you resonate with and that can actually help you, coach who you like his style and you understand from what he teaches. Like that's very important. And I feel like I understood that pretty early on. It's also because like, I also started all this by investing into myself, right? Investing into
Yeah.
the remote protocol community. Shout out to that, to Closer Cartel. That was
Yes. Shout out to those boys. Yeah.
yeah, that was a great investment as well. And that's like the first thing I ever did in this space, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
started off with the mindset that okay, investing into yourself can be very good.
That's key, man, because that's the thing that holds all these reps back. I've been doing this for a long time. They never invest into themselves, years and years and years. And you did that early. And it reminds me a little bit of my story too. Like, I had similar numbers my first year, and it was because of that. I put my nuts on the line. I invested in myself. I got a mentor. I got the skill set, and didn't need to take 3 years, 4 years. So it's good you understood that early on. And so the person who's on the other side, who's listening to this, maybe they've been listening to my stuff for a little bit, maybe not, maybe they're new to me. And they're telling themselves the story of the reason I'm not investing into myself is because I don't have the money or I'm not making the money I want to make. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to just take the risk, man. If the same thing that
Yeah,
you've been doing for the past 6, 12, 2 years, whatever time frame hasn't been working, then you gotta try something else, right? And this is
for real.
something that's definitely worth trying. I feel like the key thing for me as well was just taking risks. Like I said, quitting my job, that was a risk that's brought me great results afterwards. And I took another
Hmm.
risk after that. I had, I was on another offer like back in August, and I had a 2K base, which was, pretty comfortable and a good base for setting role. And I quit that to go on another offer with no base at all, right? Um, and that was
Hmm.
also another risk, which made it all worth it because there was no way I would have hit 10K on that other offer, right? So I just feel like, going from risk to risk
Hmm.
is some sort of recipe for success in life. And it makes sense when you think about it because
Yep.
you just got to do what others people want want to because it's scary, it's difficult, it's hard.
Yeah, and it's congruent because this is the same shit you're telling your prospects. Is you have to
Yeah.
take a risk, you have to invest into yourself. None of that is gonna land if you haven't done it. You're just like using word tracks. Even if you listen to all my shit and all the other people in this space shit, if you haven't done the thing, you're just gonna keep spinning your wheels trying to get them to do something you haven't done, and people feel that. So again, super proud dog. We got to run another one when you're at 20 and you're crushing the entire closing team. Any last words here, my man?
This is just the beginning. That's what I would like to say. I feel
Hmm.
like we're definitely gonna, look back on this interview, Nick, when we are both,
Yeah.
doing much better in life, just better men, better everything. And I would say, just the fact that I'm a guy in a small town in Romania and I got to this point should show everyone that, it's possible. So I feel like that's very important for someone coming into this, not knowing whether it's possible and not knowing if it's worth to try, not knowing if this is something that is gonna bring rewards. And my
Hmm.
answer is that yes, it will, and take the risk.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Appreciate you, dog. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.